If you've been waiting for a complete, up-to-date guide to every Thai GL series that's actually dropped in 2025, no rumors, no maybes, just real releases through October, then you're in the right place. This year didn't just deliver new shows, it redefined what Thai GL storytelling can be. From time-bending surgeons to royal reincarnations, office romances to mafia entanglements, 2025 gave us 17 bold, emotional, and wildly different sapphic dramas. And today, we're breaking down every single one of them, what they're about, why they matter, and which ones you absolutely cannot miss. Let's be honest, keeping up with the Thai GL scene can feel overwhelming. New titles drop constantly, release dates shift, and sometimes you're left wondering, did this actually come out, or is it still just a dream? But 2025? This year changed everything. For the first time in history, there's been a new Thai GL series released every single month, from January straight through October. That's not just consistency. That's a movement. It wasn't just about quantity, it was about depth, ambition, and fearless storytelling. Studios big and small pushed boundaries, explored complex identities, and gave us love stories that felt raw, real, and revolutionary. So whether you're a longtime fan who's watched every GL since Gap the series, or you just discovered the genre last month, this list is your ultimate roadmap. We'll walk through every series released from January to October 2025, chronologically, clearly, and with zero fluff. And trust me, by the time we get to October's releases, you'll be hitting play on at least 3 of them today. Kicking off 2025 with quiet intensity, US dropped in January and immediately set a tender, bittersweet tone for the year ahead. The story follows Dokrak, a 20-year-old navigating her gap year while working part-time at a cozy art gallery cafe, until she meets Pam, a focused dentistry student who becomes her regular. What starts as admiration quickly deepens into something far more complicated, especially when Dokrak's own brother, Kawi, falls head over heels for the same woman. Faced with loyalty to her brother and the ache of her unspoken feelings, Dokrak agrees to coach Kawi on how to win Pam's heart, a decision that pulls her deeper into emotional quicksand. The series masterfully captures that painful limbo between selflessness and desire, where every kind gesture toward her brother feels like a betrayal of her own heart. There's no grand confession, no dramatic outburst, just the slow, quiet unraveling of someone trying to love everyone but herself. What makes US stand out in the 2025 Thai GL series list isn't just its emotional realism, it's how it frames love as both a gift and a sacrifice. And if you've ever hidden your feelings to protect someone else's happiness, this one will hit harder than you expect. Coming next, we shift from grounded heartbreak to something far more surreal, where time itself bends to the will of love. Just 1 month into the year, Reverse With Me arrived in February and turned the Thai GL landscape on its head, not with melodrama, but with a haunting blend of medical realism and time-bending fantasy. At its core is Cleo, a 6th-year medical student still haunted by the mysterious woman who saved her life 7 years earlier using a power no one else seems to believe in, the ability to manipulate time. When fate finally brings her face to face with Karen again, the reunion isn't the joyful moment she imagined. Instead, Karen is now a cold, distant cardiothoracic surgeon who refuses to acknowledge their past or her own extraordinary gift. The tension between them crackles with unspoken history, medical urgency, and the weight of a secret accident that changed both their lives. Every ER shift, every stolen glance, every clipped conversation pulls them deeper into a mystery neither can escape. What makes Reverse With Me so compelling in the 2025 Thai GL series list is how it merges sci-fi longing with deeply human vulnerability. It's not just about time travel, it's about whether love can survive when one person remembers everything and the other pretends to remember nothing. And if you thought medical dramas couldn't feel magical, this one will change your mind. Up next, we leave the hospital corridors and step into a century-spanning love story that defies time itself. In March, I'm Your Moon arrived not just as a love story, but as a poetic echo across more than a century. Set against 2 timelines, 1913 and 2021, the series weaves together the lives of 2 princesses whose forbidden romance was crushed by royal duty, only to be reborn in modern-day Thailand as Katsakorn and Athithan. Their souls remember what their minds can't, that they were never meant to be apart. Unlike typical reincarnation tales that rely on amnesia tropes, this drama leans into emotional residue, the lingering sense of déjà vu, the inexplicable pull towards someone you've just met, the dreams that feel more like memories. Even without the rigid class barriers of the past, their present-day love still battles ghosts, unresolved grief, societal expectations, and the weight of a history that refuses to stay buried. What truly elevates I'm Your Moon on the 2025 Thai GL series list is its visual lyricism and spiritual depth. It doesn't just ask if love can survive time, it asks whether time itself is just love's way of finding us again and again. And if you've ever felt a connection so deep it seemed older than your own life, this story will resonate in your bones. Next, we trade royal palaces for recording studios, where music becomes the language of desire and confusion. Don't let the title fool you. Music Story, Losing Control isn't about melodies or concerts. It's about the dissonance between survival and sincerity, and how desperation can twist even the most genuine connections. Released in 2 parts across April and June 2025, this K11D house drama delivers one of the year's most morally complex love triangles, where every affection might be a performance, and every promise, a calculation. At the center is Queen, the grieving daughter of a wealthy family, drowning in loneliness despite her privilege. Seeking companionship, she hires C, a young woman working as a travel companion to support her struggling family. Their bond forms quickly, almost too easily. But when C becomes unavailable, Queen turns to Bam, another companion carrying her own heavy burden, crushing family debt. What Queen doesn't know is that C and Bam are ex-lovers, secretly plotting to manipulate her for money to rebuild their life together. Yet as intimacy deepens, their plan begins to crumble, not because they're caught, but because real feelings start to bleed through the lies. Both C and Bam find themselves genuinely drawn to Queen's vulnerability, and Queen, in turn, starts to question whether her love is real or just another transaction. Losing Control earns its place on the 2025 Thai GL series list not through grand gestures, but through quiet betrayals, shifting loyalties, and the terrifying moment when you realize you've fallen for someone you were supposed to be using. And just when you think you've seen every kind of love story, May brings us something entirely different, a marriage of convenience with a 12-year age gap and a promise that changes everything. In May, Denied Love arrived as a masterclass in emotional restraint and slow burn transformation, adapted from Peony's novel and produced by Copia Bangkok. The premise is deceptively simple. After her heartbreak, Rin agrees to a marriage of convenience with Kem, the much younger daughter of her father's best friend, in exchange for control of the family company. The catch? They must stay married for 2 years, no feelings allowed. Rin builds walls around her heart, convinced love only leads to pain. But Kem refuses to treat their arrangement as just business. Bright, persistent, and unshaken by rejection, she shows up, not with grand declarations, but with daily acts of care that slowly chip away at Rin's defenses. Their dynamic flips the script on age gap romance. It's not about power or seduction, but about patience as an act of faith. What makes Denied Love essential on the 2025 Thai GL series list is how it turns a contractual relationship into a battlefield of hope versus fear. Rin says, "No matter what, I'll never love you." And Kem replies, "I'll wait for the day you do." That promise carries the entire story, and if you've ever loved someone who wasn't ready to love back, this one will leave you breathless. Next, we step into a struggling grocery store where inheritance comes with secrets, and flirtation hides a ticking time bomb. June brought us Whale Store Zoxo, GMMTV's heartfelt adaptation of Snow Leopard's novel The Whale Store, and a welcome return for Milk and Love, who charmed audiences in 23.5 the year before but now step into richer, more grounded roles. This time, there are no supernatural elements or high school drama, just the everyday struggle of keeping a small business alive, and the unexpected romance that blooms in the produce aisle. Milk plays Juan, a repair technician who suddenly inherits her father's failing grocery store during a financial crisis. Determined to save it, she throws herself into the work, only to keep running into Mainam, a regular customer played by Love, whose cheerful flirtation hides a complicated truth. Her own family's business could be the very thing that puts Juan's store out of commission. What makes Whale Store Zoxo shine in the 2025 Thai GL series list is its warmth without naivety. It's light-hearted, yes, but never shallow. The tension isn't just romantic, it's economic, ethical, and deeply human. And while it carries the same cozy energy as 23.5, it trades youthful idealism for adult resilience. If you've ever rooted for an underdog, or fallen for someone who showed up exactly when you needed them, this one's for you. Up next, two fan-favorite actresses reunite in a story where second chances come with office politics and unresolved college crushes. July kicked off with Somewhere Somehow, the long-awaited reunion of Faye and May, this time stepping out of dreamy fantasy and into the sharp-edged world of corporate Thailand. Produced by Idol Factory, the series flips the script on their previous roles. Faye plays Key, a brilliant but unassuming engineer, while May steps into the shoes of Feme, a no-nonsense vice president at a major beauty brand whose reputation for being ruthless precedes her. Their paths cross again when a high-stakes project forces them to work together, years after Key quietly nursed a college crush that Feme never even noticed. Now, power dynamics have reversed, egos clash in boardrooms, and old feelings resurface in the most inconvenient ways. But this isn't just about rekindling romance, it's about whether two people can truly see each other past their roles, their reputations, and the versions they used to be. Somewhere Somehow earns its spot on the 2025 Thai GL series list by blending sharp workplace comedy with genuine emotional evolution. The chemistry isn't just spark, it's friction, growth, and the quiet courage it takes to be vulnerable with someone who once felt untouchable. And if you love their chemistry in My Marvelous Dream Is You, you'll appreciate how they've matured without losing their charm. But romance isn't the only game in July, because later that same month, Love Gets a Bodyguard, and a Whole Lot of Bullets. Still in July, but shifting gears completely, Only the series arrived as Channel 3 Thailand's boldest GL experiment yet, a full-blown action romance thriller starring Ling and ORM, fresh off their breakout success in The Secret of Us. This time, Ling plays Tawan, a dedicated police officer assigned to protect Era, portrayed by ORM, a woman who isn't just another VIP, but the love of Tawan's life, returning after years apart. Danger isn't a backdrop here, it's the engine of the story. From car chases to covert operations, every mission raises the stakes not just for their survival, but for their relationship. Trust is tested in real time, because in a world where enemies strike without warning, hesitation can be fatal. Yet amid the gunfire and getaway cars, the heart of the series remains intimate, two people choosing each other, again and again, even when the world tries to tear them apart. Only You the series redefines what Thai GL can be in 2025. It proves that sapphic storytelling doesn't need to stay in cafes or classrooms, it can thrive in high-octane suspense, as long as the emotional core stays true. And with its cinematic pacing and fearless leads, it's easily one of the year's most unforgettable entries. But if corporate boardrooms are more your speed, July had another powerhouse waiting in the wings, where luxury empires collide, and rivalry turns into something far more dangerous. Rounding out a powerhouse July, Harmony's Secret dropped like a declaration of war, between two business dynasties, and between two women who never expected to fall for their fiercest rival. Reuniting Lukmi and Sonia after their success in Affair, Change 2561 crafted a high-stakes drama where love isn't whispered in hallways, it's negotiated in boardrooms and fought for in shareholder meetings. On one side, the heiress of a luxury hotel empire. On the other, the successor to a department store dynasty. Both are competing for the same national duty-free contract, and both are used to winning. But when they lock eyes across a conference table, the real battle begins, not for market share, but for control of their own hearts. What starts as icy professionalism quickly ignites into a magnetic pull neither can rationalize or resist. With a pilot that exploded past 5 million views, Harmony's Secret cemented itself as a standout in the 2025 Thai GL series list by blending corporate intrigue with raw emotional vulnerability. It's not just about who gets the contract, it's about whether two ambitious women can choose love without losing themselves in the process. And if you've ever been drawn to someone you were supposed to defeat, this rivalry to romance arc will feel dangerously familiar. But not all love stories in 2025 were about power plays, some were about second chances, old wounds, and the return of someone you tried to forget. August opened with Roller Coaster, a raw and emotionally layered drama from Motion Minds Entertainment that dives headfirst into the chaos of unfinished love. Based on the novel by Relib, the story centers on Pure, still reeling from her breakup with Air, who walked away years ago to marry a man under family pressure. Now, Pure is trying to move on, and just as hope returns in the form of Loft, a kind and steady presence, Air reappears, determined to win her back. This isn't just a love triangle, it's a collision between past trauma and future possibility. Pure stands at a crossroads, one path leads back to the woman who broke her heart but claims to have changed, the other leads forward with someone who offers safety, but maybe not the same fire. The series doesn't romanticize either choice, it shows the exhaustion, the doubt, and the fear that come with reopening old wounds. What makes Roller Coaster essential on the 2025 Thai GL series list is its refusal to offer easy answers. Love isn't just about passion, it's about timing, healing, and whether someone deserves a second chance after walking away once. And if you've ever been torn between who you were with and who you could become, this story will leave you questioning your own choices. But while some grapple with the past, others in August were swapping bodies and discovering love in the most absurd, unexpected way. Later in August, Queendom arrived as WeTV's bold debut in the GL genre, and what a debut it was. Adapted from Salmon's novel and starring Hung as Ray and Pam as Print, the series flips the classic rival-to-lovers trope on its head with a twist that's equal parts hilarious and revealing, a full-on body swap. Ray and Print have hated each other since school, and their animosity only intensifies when they compete for the lead role in a major drama. But right before filming begins, a bizarre accident forces them to live each other's lives. Suddenly, Ray is navigating Print's chaotic schedule, and Print is dealing with Ray's overbearing agent, and in the process, they start seeing past the rivalry to the pressures, insecurities, and dreams they'd both been hiding. Queendom stands out in the 2025 Thai GL series list not just for its comedic timing, but for how it uses absurdity to uncover empathy. The body swap isn't just a gimmick, it's a metaphor for truly walking in someone else's shoes. And as the line between competition and connection blurs, what begins as forced proximity turns into something neither of them saw coming. But while some found love through laughter, others in 2025 walked straight into a wedding, only to have it shattered by a secret kiss and a pregnancy bomb. September delivered one of 2025's most emotionally intricate dramas, Poisonous Love the Series, a North Star Entertainment production set in the same universe as The Secret of Us. Jaina stars as Pat, a striking actress often typecast as a villain, while Ginny plays Prem, a poised heart surgeon preparing to walk down the aisle. Pat arrives at the wedding not as a saboteur, but as a friend. Her close companion has just revealed she's pregnant by the groom. Pat comes to support her, but the moment she sees the bride, everything stops. Prem is the woman she shared a secret, passionate kiss with at a bachelorette party the night before. Now, Pat is trapped in an impossible position: tell the truth and shatter Prem's world, or stay silent and let her marry a liar. What unfolds is a story of mistaken intentions, hidden identities, and love blooming in the wreckage of betrayal. Prem despises Pat, assuming she's part of the deception, never realizing Pat is the only one who tried to protect her. Poisonous Love stands out in the 2025 Thai GL series list because it turns a classic villain into the moral center, and shows how love can grow even when trust is buried under layers of pain. And while some sought truth in broken vows, others in October returned home with a mission of revenge, only to fall for the one person who could ruin their plan. But deception wasn't limited to weddings in 2025, because in October, one woman returned to Thailand not for love, but for revenge, and got tangled in a game she couldn't control. Kicking off October with high stakes and even higher emotions, Player the series dropped as Heart Pop Studios' slick, suspense-driven GL adaptation of Seeks' novel Player. Memi stars as Pun, a woman whose life implodes when the man she hired for a fake marriage vanishes, with her money and a mafia connection in tow. Determined to get answers, she returns to Thailand with one goal: track him down. Her only lead? Ploy, a sharp-witted actress played by Ice, who seems to know more than she lets on. Pun tries to manipulate her way into Ploy's trust, but the game flips fast. What starts as a calculated move turns into genuine attraction, and Pun soon realizes she might not be the only one playing. Ploy has been 2 steps ahead all along, guarding secrets of her own that could change everything. Player the series earns its spot on the 2025 Thai GL series list by blending romantic tension with thriller-level suspense. It's not just about who's lying, it's about why, and whether love can survive when every word might be part of a strategy. And if you've ever questioned whether someone's affection was real or just part of their plan, this cat-and-mouse romance will keep you guessing until the final frame. But not all October releases were about deception. Some were about the comfort of shared office chaos, awkward crushes, and the return of a beloved on-screen couple. Later in October, Unlimited Love arrived as the feel-good workplace rom-com Thai GL fans didn't know they needed, co-produced by MGI and Channel One, and built around one of the genre's most beloved pairings, Angfa and Charlotte. After winning hearts in Show Me Love and deepening their spark in Love Bully and Petrichor, they return in roles that flip their dynamic. This time, Angfa is the boss, and Charlotte is, well, everyone else in the office trying not to melt under her gaze. Set in a bustling shared workspace, the series follows multiple couples navigating deadlines, misunderstandings, and the kind of flirtation that happens over coffee runs and printer jams. But at its core is the slow-burn tension between authority and affection, because being in charge doesn't make your heart any less vulnerable. Awkward encounters, playful teasing, and genuine support weave together into a story that's equal parts funny, tender, and refreshingly grounded. Unlimited Love stands out in the 2025 Thai GL series list not for drama or danger, but for its warmth and relatability. It's the kind of show you watch after a long day, where love isn't world-ending, but world-mending. And if you've ever had a crush on someone you see every day but never knew how to tell, this one will feel like a hug. But while some found comfort in office hallways, others in October stepped into far darker territory, where survival means becoming someone you never wanted to be. October didn't hold back, and Dangerous Queen the series proved it. Produced by Snur Entertainment and adapted from Kun Fuing's gripping web novel, this drama dives into a world where love and survival collide in the most dangerous corners of society. Tankwa stars as Queen, a young woman drowning in debt who makes a desperate choice, becoming a luxury escort to stay afloat. Her path soon crosses with Bon, played by Nur, a powerful figure from her past whose return stirs up old wounds, buried feelings, and high-stakes conflicts. But this isn't a fairy tale about rescue, it's a raw exploration of agency, identity, and the cost of reclaiming control when the system has already written you off. Their romance unfolds not in candlelit dinners, but in whispered conversations behind closed doors and choices that could destroy them both. Dangerous Queen the series earns its place on the 2025 Thai GL series list by refusing to sanitize its characters' struggles. It portrays female ambition, trauma, and desire with unflinching honesty, and gives its leads depth beyond tropes. If you're ready for a story where love isn't safe, but necessary, this one will leave you thinking long after the credits roll. And while some fought for survival in the shadows, others in October were battling it out in boardrooms, over blueprints, betrayals, and a house they were supposed to build together. Also released in October, Love Design emerged as Velcurve Studios' sharp, emotionally layered drama about ambition, betrayal, and the courage to love again. The story follows Akbab, a young architect who launches her own firm with one goal: take down Mind, her former senior who stole her groundbreaking design and used it to climb the industry ladder. But the path to revenge isn't smooth. Akbab faces cutthroat competition, financial strain, and the constant shadow of her past failure. Just when she's ready to shut everyone out, she meets Rin, a brilliant, principled architect whose integrity and talent challenge everything Akbab believes about trust. As they collaborate on a high-stakes project called Love Makes a Home, professional respect turns into something deeper, forcing Akbab to choose, hold on to her anger, or risk her heart on someone who might actually see her for who she truly is. Love Design earns its place on the 2025 Thai GL series list by turning architecture into metaphor. Every wall Akbab builds is one she must eventually tear down. It's not a story about two ex-lovers rekindling, it's about a woman learning that success means nothing if you're too guarded to share it. And if you've ever had to decide between protecting your past or opening up to your future, this one will resonate deeply. But while some fought to rebuild their careers, others in October returned home not for revenge, but for refuge, in the arms of the one person they'd left behind. Closing out October is My Safe Zone, a deeply human story from CH3 Thailand that proves sometimes the most powerful love stories begin not with a spark, but with a promise. Starring Lena as Lynn and Myo as Jane, the series revisits a friendship that began in high school, where the two girls vowed to stay together forever, until Lynn left for years to study abroad, breaking that promise, leaving Jane behind. Years later, a broken engagement brings Lynn back home, emotionally adrift and searching for solid ground. She finds it in Jane, the one person who never stopped being her safe zone. But time has reshaped them both. Jane has moved on, built a life, and buried feelings she thought were long gone. Now, with Lynn back in her space, those emotions resurface, quiet but undeniable. My Safe Zone earns its spot on the 2025 Thai GL series list through emotional honesty. It doesn't rely on grand gestures or dramatic twists, just the quiet courage it takes to come back, to forgive, and to ask, is there still room for me? If you've ever lost someone you loved and wondered if you could find your way back to them, this final chapter of 2025's lineup will leave you hopeful, healed, and maybe even reaching for your own safe zone. So there you have it, every Thai GL series that's actually dropped in 2025, from January's quiet heartbreak in US to October's emotional homecoming in my safe zone. 17 stories. 17 different ways to fall in love, fight for it, lose it, and sometimes, find it again in the most unexpected places. This wasn't just another year for Thai GL, it was a turning point. We saw studios take risks, writers dig deeper, and actresses bring layers to characters who felt real, flawed, and fiercely human. Whether it was time-bending surgeons, rival heiresses, body-swapping enemies, or architects rebuilding more than just buildings, 2025 proved that sapphic storytelling in Thailand isn't just growing. It's evolving. Now I want to hear from you, which of these 17 series hit you the hardest? Was it the raw honesty of denied love? The high-stakes tension of only you? Or maybe the quiet hope of my safe zone? Drop your top 3 in the comments, because your voice shapes what we talk about next. And if you don't want to miss a single update as 2025 wraps up, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. November's already whispering new possibilities, and when those stories arrive, you'll be the first to know. Until then, keep watching, keep feeling, and never stop believing in love in all its forms.